We are live. Welcome to the day 4 of the third test match. We have someone from the UK. We have someone from Newcastle. Hi. Morning, Karthik. Morning to you. Have you watched Karthik calling Karthik? Is the first thing that I thought of. Hi, Sandeep. Hi, Sandeep. Oh, this.
Wow.
Hi, Lokesh. Hi, Observer. Shrikant. There are a couple of names that I missed out on if I'm not. Hi, Siddharth. Hey, Siddharth. Hey, boys. Hey, Zappy. Zappy's been a while since you've been here. Is something we observed. If you're joining us for the first time, hit that like button and push the live to a lot more people. If you're joining us for the first time, what happened? No, this is fine. If you're joining us for the first time ever, we have a lot of segments. We'll talk about what India needs to do. We'll talk about players to watch out for, things to watch out for. We have a very interesting technical tidbit that's also pinned in our comment section. You should watch that video after our live. It's a 38-minute video, but I feel like you learn a lot about batting. And then we also have a couple of stats. We will address the chat, and then we will go away and have a nice Sunday afternoon, hopefully, when India bowls England out for 50 and we chase it in 2 overs, and then we win by 10 wickets. Yeah. Giga Gary, what's your win whiz? Like draw, India win. We'll have a PP in the end of this. We'll have a Praatibh prediction. Yeah.
Important to expand on the
Washi has no scoring shots. We'll cut some slack to Washington.
There's things we can.
Yeah, gonna be draw if there is sun. All right, so there are a couple of things to talk about. Couple of interesting things. A lot of people talking about a potential draw. I mean, it could be unless India get rolled or England get rolled out or India get rolled out. In fact, depending on who. I'm sure the England team will go for a win. Or at least they will try to, but then the pitch might not suffice them to, which is also why we'll talk about the pitch. So let's do that.
Alright, so pitch has played out very interestingly in the 3 days. I will say this has been the most competitive pitch for Test cricket, and I mean it's still been a good pitch to bat on or ball on. Overhead conditions, sun has been beat. Expected to crack open, especially because it's day 4 today. There should be something for the spinners as well, but more importantly, still going to be a very and you out and score, get your wickets. Either side has to be application based, which is also why there is so much conversation around the fact that because you can't. England will try and force a result. Head into the pitch. Expected to turn today. Expect batting to get slightly tougher, and scoring might not be that.
Interesting that I think Karthik said that it's overcast today. That's interesting. We'll find that out. Praatibh will find that out in London. All right. So a couple of things what India needs to do. We talked about this yesterday, and this is a conversation we will continue today. Is the new ball conundrum, and in terms of who starts off with the new ball. Of course, we'll have a whole recap of this, right? When India started off in the first innings with the ball, Akashdeep and Jasprit Bumrah started off with the new ball. Siraj wasn't as effective. Now, with the second new ball, on the end of day's play, we saw Akashdeep and Jasprit Bumrah start off with the new ball again. But the day after that, we saw Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj start out with the new ball, and we saw Akashdeep not be as effective. Now, what will India do with this innings will be interesting. We saw Jasprit Bumrah and Akashdeep warm up yesterday, but which only would have meant that Akashdeep, if there was a potential second over, Akashdeep would have started off. Now, what happens today is something to watch out for, because we know Bumrah bowled that 1 over yesterday, so he will bowl the third over today or the second over today. I mean, third over of the innings, but second over today. But we will see someone start off with the new ball, and that will be the first spell. And what will be interesting is whoever starts, hopefully starts off well, but the third bowler coming in should have a decent spell as well. I mean, we have seen the bowler, especially Akashdeep and Siraj, whoever's been the first change, we've seen them struggle with rhythm. And what will be important for them is to get that rhythm in case the new ball bowlers don't get a wicket. I would hope that Zach Crawley is a crawling wicket today, but because I hope that, I feel like we won't. And because I hope that, I feel like he might just score a lot of runs just to get under India's skin. But what should be the game plan today is simply this. Again, the first 30 to first star is very, very important. And if we don't see wickets falling, if we don't see anything happening, I don't think India should panic, because the pitch is spinning and we have 2 spinners on the pitch. to be used on the pitch. We have two spinners on the team, and so I will be shocked once again. I said this before. I'll be shocked if before the end of lunch we don't see spinners coming in. We don't see Jadeja being used because the pitch definitely has turn and bounce. We saw that with Joe Root. We saw that with Jadeja and Washington Sundar even in the first innings. So if nothing happens and if we do struggle to get wickets, I will be very, very surprised if we don't see Jadeja come in. I will be very, very surprised if Siraj and Akashdeep, if they are getting a good run and they don't get a longer spell. What I will be surprised is if Jasprit Bumrah doesn't get a wicket, is what I'll be surprised by to begin with. But if he doesn't get a wicket and then is taken off, I will be surprised if Akashdeep or Siraj coming in as first change aren't able to get a wicket, because this is something we have seen with the Indian team in this test series, is when the opening bowlers don't get a wicket, generally the first change does. And so I will be really surprised. I know I've used the word surprise a lot, but I will be shocked if in the first hour, England are not 2-3 down. Let's just put it out there. All right, let's talk about Fin to win, and that's things to watch out for.
Things to watch out for, yeah. So,
Oh, no, it's players to watch out for you, right? No, it's players to watch out for you.
Players to watch out for, I think Bumrah obviously is one that we always look at and expect him to do well. But Akashdeep, how he is going to go will be important today. There's also going to be a lot riding on the new ball conundrum, as we have been talking about. But that is something that definitely will play a part, especially because this pitch has behaved a little differently, and Akashdeep has been a little lackluster lately. So it will be important for
Wait,
him to
what is
start
up
off.
with this mic stuff?
What happened?
Wait, is there actual mic issue with both of us? You know what? Give us 2 minutes. We'll just, I mean, there's nothing really we can do about this, but we will. Praatibh, volume is low. See, that's the thing, but the volume is highest possible we could do. Right, so
Is it still bad?
Praatibh mic, speak near to the mic. I mean, lift up the mic if you can.
My mouth at this point. Is it still bad? Just let us know.
Go on, it's fine. Hopefully, it should be fine. Your mic is working, but it's getting disconnected and volume is low. Not Ashwin, the other.
Hello. Cool. All right, so it's on Akashdeep. Ashwin, your mic is fine. Somehow it's echoing volume. All right, I'm just going to continue. Let's see, because there's a little bit of lag there. But yeah, it will be important to see how Akashdeep goes, if he gets the new ball or not. That's one player to definitely watch out for. He has been a little lackluster. And so I think today how he starts is going to be extremely important for him. Now, other than Akashdeep, I think the spinners are worth watching out for, because there is enough in the pitch to be able for them to be able to get some kind of purchase. Now, is it better? Okay, awesome. It is better. So yeah, it's basically these three players, because I mean Bumrah, Siraj, these guys very likely will step it up. But I really want to see how Akashdeep goes today. Eye out for him. Also, it'll be interesting to see if Pant started yesterday. Is it Jurel?
Oh yeah, I did not see.
That's something I actually didn't this at all. So let us know in the chat. But yeah, I think if Pant's not keep, how does that exactly work?
Yeah, that's true. I didn't really notice it yesterday. I have no idea who kept yesterday, but yeah, that is that. All right, let's go to what's late in bread, and that is things to watch out for. All right. So there are a couple of things to watch out for. It's how the pitch plays out in the first 30 minutes. We know that the English batters would use the heavy roller. So we do know in the first maybe 15 minutes, nothing might happen. But after that is when we might see things start. All right, Jurel was keeping. So, right, okay. Jurel continues to keep. Yeah, that is something we missed out yesterday. Oh, yeah, Jurel was keeping. Okay, fine. Doesn't matter. All right. Yeah, so that will be something interesting to think about in terms of how the pitch is going to play out in the first 30 minutes, in the first 15 minutes in fact, because of the rollers. But more importantly, I will be interested to see when Shubman Gill starts bringing the spinners into play, because I feel like they will play a very, very important role. And more than that, I will be interested to see when Shubman Gill decides to take that one slip out. Because
yeah, yesterday was nice because we started off with 3 slips and a gully also, possibly because it was last one, like just 1 or 2 overs of play. But if Shubman Gill can start that way today, I think that will be a good sign of attack.
True.
Especially after how last night ended, they will be itching to get Crawley out for sure. Another thing to actually watch out for is how England plays in terms of if they go for the attack, if they go for it or not. I'm sure in the first 30 to 45 minutes, aren't going to do anything stupid. I mean, I hope they don't for their sake. But like, what for this test match is very likely going towards a draw in terms of the scoring rates we've seen so far. For England to be able to force a result, they will have to within this day make something like 250, 300 odd, and then they'll have to declare, put India in. And we've also had so many overs lost.
I feel like there is an echo. I do get that. Like, I do get the echo bit. Like, I see that happening. I don't know why that's happening because it hasn't happened in the last couple of days. We'll figure it out after the live ends, hopefully in the post match when there are a lot more people. I'll make sure there is no echo. But
For now,
the problem with Mike is that there's a bit of echo, right? I get the echo bit. We'll figure that out. For now, we'll adjust. Like, we'll keep adjusting so that you don't have to adjust to anything. All right, let's go to quick wit and bread, and those are stats.
all right, so we had a bunch of stats yesterday. Some have carried forwarded to today. Now, India last night got 387, and this is only the third time that they've scored the same as their opposition in a test match. Coincidentally, the last time it happened was in 1986 versus England at Edgbaston, series where India won. So that is a good stat. Next one, and this is a little bit disappointing. It's probably the reason that our like last three batters just absolutely crumble. Is that Jasprit Bumrah in his last 7 innings has been dismissed for a duck 6 times. This is his 35th duck overall. Very soon he's going to be on top of that list, which is I think at 43. Yeah. And the last one, Pant now has 88 test sixes. He equals Rohit for most test sixes and second only behind Virender Sehwag, who has 90. That's that.
All right, let's go to the technical tidbits. Shrikant, like, I get, all right, I get the audio bit. We'll fix it after this live, dude. It won't be there in the post match. We get it. We understand. We just don't want to do it now because then the live drags on. We'll fix it after. Like, I understand the solutions. All right, so let's go to the technical tidbit. This is very much related to the link that we have pinned in the comment. So if you're getting very irritated with the live and the audio issues, click on that link. It's a 38-minute video. I think it's a beautiful video. And it's about playing late. So Kane Williamson talks about batters. He talks about Virat Kohli, if you guys are interested. He talks about the Fab Four. But more importantly, he talks about playing late. And something he does talk about, which is very interesting, which is also makes him so different to a lot of other batters. And you would also see something different in terms of why they are at that level is because they think so much. Is not only do they change their batting grip depending on the pitch, but more importantly, what Kane Williamson looks at while looking at a ball is he looks at the top half of the ball. He looks at the top of the ball so that when he plays a shot, he knows that he's met on top of the ball. And what this basically means is not only are you able to play very, very late because you're playing on top of the ball, but you know that every shot of yours, you're playing it along the ground, you're playing it to the ground, which makes the chances of you getting out very, very less. And he also emphasizes on the fact that a lot of people think playing late would mean that you're mindset is very defensive, because if you predominantly see, like, even in this test series, you see Joe Root playing late, you see KL Rahul playing late, Kane Williamson plays late. They're not defensive batters. Joe Root, if anything, loves to attack, loves to score runs, but they're not defensive. It's not a defensive approach. If anything, you already know the kind of shot you're going to play once you judge the line and length after the bowler releases the ball. And when you know you want to defend, or when you know that it's a kind of shot that you want to play, you just want to play it as late as possible, making sure that even if there is a bit of movement, that you are able to avoid it as a batter. And I think if anything, that's very attacking, because not only are you trying to protect your wicket, you are also trying to score runs, because we've seen Kane Williamson try getting those runs from that gully region towards third man in white ball cricket, or between slips and gully in red ball cricket. And I think that's very commendable, and for him to be able to think like that, and for someone who's batting at number 3, one of the most difficult positions in the red ball format, or any format in fact, I think for him to score those many runs, this just goes to show why he's able to score those many runs. All right, let's go to addressing your chats. Kane says all this but hasn't got a score in England. Dude, yeah, but that way Root's not scored in Australia. Kane will score in England. That's the reason he's playing county cricket. That's the reason he's in Surrey. Cut him some slack. Is there a chance that we will miss Kuldeep, or regret not picking him in the team?
See, one thing's for sure, India would have loved to have the service of Kuldeep Yadav on this pitch simply because of what it has offered to spinners so far. Even from the first day, there was a little bit in it. Finger spinners might not get as much, whereas with Kuldeep, you know that irrespective of the kind of pitch, he will get something out of the pitch. And simply with the kind of trajectory he balls with, he gets drift, he gets dip. With all of that considered, Kuldeep will definitely be missed on this pitch. We've also made a video on it, so check it out. But at the same time, I don't think that India has the worst spinners. They still have Jaddu, they still have Washi, who can do a pretty good job. Washi seems to be getting better with controlling his dip and drift. So that is interesting and something that will come into play today, hopefully.
Indian bowlers, it's not our duty to bat. Indian batsmen, it's not our duty to bowl. All right, see, I saw this going on a lot, even during, not even during, in the Reddit, on Reddit. I saw this, like, why is it the responsibility of the bowlers to get those runs while the batters aren't scoring runs or whatever, whatever. I think that's not the point. The point is if the bowlers can get those extra runs, you are scoring those extra runs, and that's the point. I mean, even in the second test match when we were scoring a lot of runs, when Shubman Gill was scoring those 250 runs, in fact, just by himself, the fact that Jadeja, the fact that Sundar, the fact that some of the lower order could contribute a little more runs, I think that just adds on to the pressure to the opposition. And it's just good. I don't think the Indian bowlers should be able to score hundreds, but if they are able to score those 10, 20 runs, like cumulatively you're scoring 40 runs as a tail end. And that just means 40 plus runs. And if anything, that is good. Like that's what you want. Pat Cummins hit three sixes yesterday. Cars hit 50 at least. Three sixes. Cars hit 50 at least. Our bats should know better defense, right?
See, I think it also comes down to more than just scoring runs, it's about sticking around, right? It's about putting a price on your wicket. And the vice versa conversation for batters who can ball is also the same thing. As a team sport, as a team effort, you want to be able to help each other in whatever way possible. Now, when that comes to a batter having to bowl a few overs like a Joe Root, the logic is basically you want to give some rest to your other bowlers. And similarly, as a bowler who comes out to bat, you just want to stick around for at least 10, 15, 20 balls so that you give an opportunity to the batter who's batting to be able to score runs to bat some time. That's all it is.
Shrikant says my question is do you drop Crawley for Bethel as Crawley is bad? I think a lot of people are talking about it, but not if not none of them are talking about Bethel as an opener. They're only talking about Bethel at number 3 replacing Pope, or at number 6 and dropping Bashir because Bethel can also bowl. So him at number 6, Stokes comes at number 7. I think that's the conversation they have having. I don't think anyone's talking about Bethel as an opener. I don't know why. I don't know if he's opened or not in first class cricket. Of course, he's open in the T20 format, but I don't know if it's a thing that he does in red ball cricket. But to be fair, with Crawley's average and the amount of runs he's scoring, I'm saying this, I'm sure, like, because I'm saying this, I have a bad feeling about Crawley today. But yeah, talking about, yeah, if someone like Crawley is hardly scoring any runs, I don't think it's a bad option, except I don't know if he prefers it or not. During second match, all the talks were about how Akash Deep's bowling style would suit bowling in Lord's Slope. What happened to that theory?
I think the theory still holds. I think Akashdeep is still a handful, but I will say that because it's his first time playing at Lords, it's not easy to get used to the slope. Now, it's it's very interesting because I can take the example of a Chris Wokes who absolutely loves bowling at Lords. He's got something like 3 fifers over here. He's got something like 37 wickets in whatever games he's played. But the point is, since 2021, even Chris Wokes, even someone who loves this ground, has done well consistently, has struggled. And that just goes to show that it's one thing is to be in rhythm, one thing is to hit the right areas to execute your plans. But something like that slope does play an important part because it becomes about the smallest details in terms of where you pitch the ball. Because for Akashdeep in the second test match, he would have hit a particular line and length from where he got a good amount of purchase. Now, by muscle memory, he would want to hit a similar line and length coming into the Lord's test, but simply because of the geography there, he might not need to hit that length and hit something further or behind those things.
Amazing loser. So I'll play the devil's advocate here. So British media is annoying as hell. They will criticize Gill for confronting Crawley, who was disrupting Bumrah's momentum, but won't call out Crawley, who was wasting time. All right. So I get where British media is coming from in terms of like why is Gill doing what he's doing. I also get us Indian fans talking about why is Crawley wasting a lot of time. I was very irritated, not by him wasting time, but just how he's going on wasting time. Who's to say that the Indian batters wouldn't have done the same? We would have done exactly the same. The Indian openers would have come out knowing they have to face 2 overs and made sure they only had to face 1 over. I'm sure it wouldn't be as, how do I say, open as what Crawley did, just calling whatever the physio and stuff. But they would have found their own ways to make sure that the Indian batters only faced 1 over. And it's not an English thing, it's an every opener, every team thing. Yeah, it's just how he went about it was a bit bizarre, and I found it so stupid, but it is what it is.
And I mean, in terms of time waste, it's not that only one. Wasting time, should be getting a that's what's going around. So I think both teams and even the umpires are to blame for how many overs. I was seeing something on Twitter. We've lost like 30 last three.
Imagine if Bumrah does a McGrath 2005 Ashes, England is 19 for 5. Yeah, that is my hope. That is my hope in terms of 50 all out, and then India chase it in 2 overs. Would be nice. Why NKR went into a shell yesterday? His innings in Australia were but that's because of the pitches. That's because of how Archer was bowling to him. I think NKR is still trying to find his feet in international cricket. Like, sure, you scored 100 in MCG, but that's a 1 of 100. You still have to find your feet, especially in England. Different conditions, different pitch, different bowlers. And Archer was on it yesterday. The problem is if it was Indian batters, there would have been an outrage by media. But suddenly, since it's English, commentators are seeing the funny side of it. Arvind, I think that's everyone, right? I think if the Indian batters were wasting time, we would say, oh yeah, of course they're wasting time, and the British media would complain. I think you're biased towards the country you're rooting for, and I think that's absolutely fine.
That makes sense. I mean, that's how fan wars and is.
Who will right? If it's a physical thing, then I hope he gets rest. But I don't think Pant will stay off, even if it's a little. Yeah, I think he'll come on to bat if that's the conversation happening. I don't blame NKR. Stokes bowled us a great spell, and he was prime Flintoff. Interestingly, we might have a Flintoff video coming out on Tuesday.
Yeah, hopefully, if this thing goes well, we'll have Flintoff video on Tuesday.
Or will England declare end of day and go for wickets? It depends on how the English batters go about. Depends on the scoreboard, what the scoring rate is. Depends on how many wickets are left. Depends on if England think they can bowl out India. I mean, if it's a good wicket to bat, I think England will be as scared as India to declare, as scared as India, in the sense that if India don't get England all out, then it's a problem for India. If England are scared to declare because of how good the pitch is, then you just know that India can also chase it. So it's a double-edged sword. It'll all depend on what the situation is at the end of day's play. Are you guys worried about points being docked in the WTC table for this extremely slow over rate? I think India did fairly well. It's with the ball, and English bowlers who slowed the over it. I think it's also with so many. I don't
There
think.
is also. I interested to read if there are provisions in place for such stoppages, because a lot of them were injury stoppages. Some were very unnecessary, and some was just outright foolishness by the umpires. I think it was after one of the drinks breaks where they had to change the ball, and Ravi Shastri rightly pointed out that this is something. Ian Ward pointed out that this could have been done during the drinks break, and I think it was Ravi Shastri then pointed out that the box of balls also doesn't have balls that fit through the ring, which is stupid.
True. Srikanth, we will talk about the women's thriller final, the T20 match that happened yesterday. We'll talk about it post match just because there's a lot more time, because we will be going off in a couple of minutes. But yeah, if you guys haven't followed the women's T20 series, India did go on to lose yesterday, but we won the series 3-2 for the first time in England in a T20 series. So that's something to celebrate. And if you guys are still wanting to follow more cricket, the under-19 boys are playing England Lions. So there's an under-19 multi-day match that's happening. So watch out for that too. Some of the balls in the box don't fit the ring. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Did Jurel seem a better keeper than Punt? Technically, he is. Yes. The ball changes took so long. Exactly. Let's assume we get a chase of 280. Should we go for it?
Uh, time will matter. Like how soon are we? How much time do we have to chase 280 back? But yeah, it'll matter how many overs we have. 80. If England are able to get to 280 tonight, and India has like England put India in for like 10-15 overs tonight, that means we have around 100 overs. Then we should 100% go. So that'll
Yeah,
matter.
yeah. Again, depend on the situation and like what happens and the amount of runs on the wickets, which is why the first hour and first 1 hour and until lunch will be important. Hopefully, actually, I don't mind both Akashdeep or Siraj taking the new ball. My hope is the first change does well, NKR does well, and at least one of the spinners do well. It'll be too much to expect both of them to do well, or even NKR for that matter. I'm just hoping whoever the spinner is, they are able to take a couple of wickets because Joe Root was able to. Joe Root was not able to take wickets, but able to put pressure on the batters, and I feel like our spinners are good enough, if not better, especially Jadeja, to do the same. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Almost 100 people in by the end of a live, which is what happens. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you post match. There's a lot to talk about. Oh, apologize. There's a lot to talk about. There's the India women's team, there's the under 19, and of course the end of days play to begin with. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you post match and we will fix the mic. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.